The anime starts with a young boy named Lloyd, who is being taught magic based on the 4 basic elements by his strict teacher. She began training him on the first element, fire, and firmly told him to keep practicing until he succeeded. If he failed, he wouldn't get dinner that night. This threat made Lloyd take it very seriously. Lloyd started practicing magic with determination. After a long time of persistent attempts, he went to his teacher and told her that he'd finally succeeded. He demonstrated what he had learned, which surprised his teacher with how fast he was improving, but she quickly put out his fire, then produced a huge flame in front of him and told him he still had a long way to go, making him realize that what he achieved was just a simple beginning. The next day, she started teaching him how to bring water out from the ground. When Lloyd tried to copy his teacher at first, he didn't succeed at all, so she explained it to him in a clearer way. When she brought water out of the ground in front of him, Lloyd was amazed by her power, and she told him to try it himself now. When he tried again, he managed to do it and proudly told her about the water, but she explained that she was happy about his progress, then rewarded him by pouring a large amount of water on him and told him this is what real water is. On the following day, he showed that he could use the power of wind, but his power wasn't perfect yet. When his teacher saw this, she blasted him with wind, pushing him away from where he was standing, to show him the difference between his limited power and her true power. After that, he went to the forest and used the power of ice to make a statue of his teacher, thinking she would like it. But when his teacher saw the statue, she used it against him. She grabbed Lloyd, enlarged the statue, then smashed it, causing Lloyd to fall into the scattered ice. He came out from the ice thinking that he lacked real power, and told his teacher he'd work hard to gain it. After this, we moved to their home, where his teacher was very sick. Lloyd asked his teacher if she felt any better, but she was still in a lot of pain. Lloyd kept helping her and cast a healing spell on her, after which his teacher felt better than before. She hugged him to thank him for his help, but then she grabbed him and told him it was time to continue training again. As days passed, the teacher was sitting in her room reading a spell book, looking sad. Lloyd came in to tell her the food was ready. As she put the book on the table, it dropped to the floor. When Lloyd picked it up and touched it, something strange happened and he instantly lost consciousness, which shocked his teacher. She picked up the book and thought Lloyd had the qualities to be the chosen one. She sat alone and finished reading the book, trying to predict Lloyd's future. She went to Lloyd's room and found him sick and asleep. She told herself she wouldn't let this boy repeat her mistakes. She kissed him on his forehead, leaving a mark that looked like a healing symbol, but the mark disappeared after that. The next day, they went into the forest, where Lloyd used a healing spell on a fruit, making it grow spectacularly. His teacher saw that he was now good at healing, but not as good as her, since she then healed the whole tree, not just one fruit. She told him that this is what true healing is, picked a fruit, tasted it, and walked away, leaving Lloyd amazed by her tremendous power. Back home, his teacher told him that some of the beast folk could use strange magic to control monsters. Lloyd asked if this was odd magic, but his teacher refused to teach Lloyd this ancient magic and told him to stay away from it since it had been extinct for centuries. The next day, he started training again with a magic staff he had hidden, but his teacher revealed it to him and struck him with it, knocking him down. She asked him to act faster, saw he still lacked enough experience, and told him not to slack off in his training. They returned home again to talk about the rest of the types of magic, including the magic stone. She told him it's crystallized mana, whose power turns everything around it into magic stone as well. Lloyd asked if it could be restored. After several days, they went into the forest again, but Lloyd didn't know what was about to happen. His teacher covered his eyes and asked him where he was. He was surprised when he saw a monster in front of him. She handed him a knife and asked him to return home within a week, shocking Lloyd with her sudden request. She told him he had to survive using magic, then left quickly. The monster appeared immediately and attacked Lloyd, but he immediately ran away and climbed a tree so the monster wouldn't catch him. He thought he couldn't defeat this monster using white magic and figured he had to escape quickly. He used vision magic and saw that the safe area was very far away. He came down from the tree and walked while carrying the knife, then hid the knife. After nightfall, he went to a tree, improved a fruit, and ate it, then stayed in a cave and used a circle spell for a minor boost to strengthen himself. In the morning, he started climbing mountains and almost fell off. When night came, he went to stay inside a tree and used a spell to reduce mana usage. In the morning, he continued walking in the forest and kept on boosting his strength. While he was on his way, he stepped on a small branch and caused a huge monster to fall, but Lloyd avoided falling himself. When he saw the monster, he got really nervous and ran away immediately, while the monster chased after him right away. Lloyd used a speed spell and made himself faster so he wouldn't get eaten by the monster. He returned home but felt exhausted and lost consciousness. His teacher came out and greeted him with pride for completing the challenge. Years later, Lloyd grew up and kept doing housework. While cleaning, he found a book about a city nearby. When his teacher saw that he had stopped working, she asked him to finish. Then he asked if he could borrow the book, and she didn't mind at all. While he kept cleaning, she appeared again and asked for his help with a spell to stop aging. She dragged him away forcefully and then brought him back the same way. After that, they had lunch. But then his teacher got an idea for a new enhancement spell. When night came, she didn't let him sleep and asked him to stay with her. She asked him to drink a special potion so he'd have energy and vitality, but he passed out from exhaustion after drinking it. He kept reading the city book, even on the next day. His teacher went to his room to wake him up, but he wasn't there. She saw the city book on his desk and realized what had happened. The story moves to Lloyd on his way to the city. Lloyd moved to the city and was amazed by the number of people everywhere, almost getting run over by a moving cart. The cart driver told him to watch his step, while Lloyd thought this city was incredible and completely different from the quiet life he was used to. He then bought some pastries but ended up broke, and suddenly got bumped by a flyer. However, someone was watching him from afar without him knowing. After reading the flyer, he learned about a job for an adventurer and decided to join in. Lloyd joined his new team on an adventure, with Yelan as the team leader. While facing a monster, the beast delivered a blow that shattered walls, leaving Lloyd in awe of this destructive power. Yelan asked Sheena to use a healing spell, but Lloyd used it without anyone noticing, which boosted the whole team and got them ready to take down the monster. One team member shot an arrow, hitting the monster's eye, which angered it, and it struck back at her, but her friend from the team blocked it. Another team member managed to bind the monster to stop it from moving, and finally, Yelan landed a powerful blow that defeated it. Lloyd saw that somehow they succeeded, but he caught the eye of one of his teammates. They returned to the city where people awaited them as heroes. Then they went to the team's house, where Yelan gave Lloyd his share of the money, telling him it was the reward for rank D, and asked him not to misunderstand. However, Lloyd didn't feel bothered at all by this modest classification. Yelan suggested they celebrate their success, but Lloyd split off because he doesn't drink alcohol, which angered one of the girls on the team because of that behavior. But Yelan didn't care and told her that any white mage could do the job and that they weren't very useful in battle. We moved to the teacher's house, where Lloyd's observer came to tell her that Lloyd had been hired by a team of adventurers called the Hero to kill monsters. The teacher saw this as Lloyd's chance to engage in a real battle, and that there was nothing to fear as long as he didn't get full of himself. The observer asked the teacher if she regretted her decision, but she replied that she wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The observer reminded her that long ago, the Lord of Demons sacrificed himself while attempting to steal a magical book, as well as trying to drag them into ruin. She recalled the past when ancient magic was used, and this magic had restored the lives of everyone fallen to the Demon King, all in exchange for Lloyd's life. We moved back to the city where a vendor was selling books about the exploits of the hero team led by Yelan as they took down a group of monsters, drawing a lot of people around him. There were stories of Yelan facing off against demons, but Lloyd appeared in them as a helper to his friend, blocking the monster's strikes until they successfully bound the beast, allowing Yelan to deliver the final blow. At Yelan's house, he went to his friend's room and asked why she had been studying so much lately. She was reading about defense fundamentals, so Yelan noted she was very diligent. However, she recently felt something strange with the blows she was blocking with her armor. Yelan told her she was overflowing with power, but she hadn't seen him training lately, though he didn't think it was necessary since she was strong already. We moved to the river, where two soldiers encountered a giant monster, which killed them near the city. Back at Yelan's house, he was informed about the soldiers' deaths and was told to kill the monster. Yelan thought this task seemed very easy. At the river, Yelan asked if the monster was nearby. Lloyd assured him that he was sure, then revealed its location. They entered the monster's lair, and Yelan struck it down, but another monster appeared, surprising Lloyd and angering Yelan. Lloyd discovered that a demon was behind this, and the black gem in its magical staff was causing the chaos, crystallizing the mana, which was very rare. One of his teammates asked if the gem was saturated with mana, while another noted that he was using it to control the monsters. Lloyd used his own spell and asked Lulo to shoot an arrow at it after he boosted her, which surprised Lulo, but she managed to fire and hit the demon. He asked Mia to bring him that staff, and Mia wondered if he wanted her to teleport it to him. When she did, Lloyd grabbed the staff, surprising Mia and angering Yelan for crossing the line, since he was the leader here. Yelan suggested they pierce the monster, but Lloyd urged him to stop as the monster's behavior would be unpredictable without the magical stone controlling it, making it dangerous. But Yelan charged at the monster, ignoring Lloyd, and nearly got hit, but Lloyd used his power to push Yelan out of the way of the monster's strike. Yelan got angry angry again and told Lloyd not to intervene. Then Lloyd attacked the monster again and landed a hit that took it down. Back at Yelan's house, Yelan decided to kick Lloyd out, telling him he only held them back and that as a white mage, he let Sheena do all the healing, deeming him useless. Lloyd asked Yelan, "Do you think I lack strength?" and felt sad when Yelan agreed. After realizing that Lloyd was aware of his shortcomings, Yelan told him to leave the team, and Lloyd walked away. Lloyd joined another team in the guild and asked their leader if he could join them, but the leader turned him down because they already had a white mage in their group. Lloyd kept walking and heard a girl begging the staff to do something, pleading she needed a white mage-free night by tomorrow, but it was too difficult for the staff. The adventurer asked the staff again about any available white mage and begged a lot, but the staff told her about Lloyd. The adventurer rushed up to him and asked if he was a white mage. When he confirmed that he was, she asked, "Are you with a team?" But he told her that, in fact, he was free and out of work. She grabbed him and urged him to come with her. They were the new Lloyd team before joining them on their mission to capture a group of thieves called the Clay Blocks. Cross the Archer believed they would succeed if they followed the plan, and the witch Silica thought they should be cautious because it was a high-level mission. Their leader, Yui, believed they could do it. However, the team's white witch, Clum, was not paying attention to them and was busy with something else. Then the team attacked the thieves, dealing significant blows. Silica used fireballs, which injured the thieves, causing them to hide behind wooden crates. After Silica finished her attack, one of the thieves said they should attack now, while she was done. When they did, Cross's arrows were waiting for them, and they were completely taken out. Yui successfully took down one thief after another from the gang, but almost got hit by one of the thieves. Luckily, Dagas intervened just in time and blocked the thief's attack until Clum used her magic to strengthen Dagas's body, allowing him to push the thief away and throw him to the ground. They succeeded in eliminating the thieves, which frightened the gang's leader who was hiding and surprised by what happened. He told himself he had to escape, but the adventurers appeared behind him. Yui asked him to surrender and accompany them quietly. The thieves' leader asked, "Who are you?" But he recognized them when he saw the badge on Yui's necklace. Yui informed him they were rank A adventurers. Then the thieves' leader grabbed his staff, which had a magical stone, and told them they couldn't defeat this monster since they were only rank A. He summoned a huge stone golem, which shocked the adventurers. Silica guessed that its massive stone body would reduce its vulnerability to magic, while Cross believed bows and arrows would also be ineffective. The thieves' leader laughed and mocked them, commanding the golem to attack. However, Yui asked them to let her handle it. She attacked the monster but had no effect. Then, the monster retaliated, but she dodged the blow. Yui then asked Clum to cast a body-strengthening spell on her, but Clum was distracted, leading Yui to ask again with urgency. This time, Clum listened and complied. Yui attacked again, delivering a powerful blow to the monster, successfully destroying it completely. The team succeeded in their mission and captured all the thieves. Clum apologized to Yui for her distraction during the battle, but Yui wasn't upset because she understood Clum had her mind elsewhere. Her little sister was the reason Clum had been distant from the team for a long time. Next, they went to the guild. After Yui found a suitable replacement for Clum, a white mage named Lloyd, she hurriedly took him to her team's headquarters. Silica was surprised she returned so quickly, while Cross thought she hadn't found any white mage. However, she told them she found one, although Dagas didn't believe her and asked where he was. Yui pointed to Lloyd, saying she would introduce him, and asked him his name. After Lloyd spoke his name, she told him he was the new white mage. Yui introduced Lloyd to the team members, explaining she was the team's swordswoman and leader, welcoming him to their group. But Lloyd wasn't ready to join them just yet. Silica expected something like this, and Dagas thought she had brought him here without explaining everything to him. Cross believed they would refuse the mission they had, feeling it impossible to do it without Clum. Dagas doubted Lloyd could fill Clum's shoes. Silica understood Yui's feelings about giving up on the mission, but Yui was very upset. She asked what would happen to their client if they refused the mission since someone was requesting their help. Lloyd suggested leaving the mission for another team, but Silica insisted they couldn't do that because this was a rank A mission and could only be accepted by teams of rank A or higher. Dagas knew all rank A teams were on external missions, and they were the only ones who could accept it since they were rank S. This surprised Lloyd when he learned they were rank S, the highest rank for adventurers. However, Cross explained that adventurers couldn't work with members not registered in their team, so they couldn't borrow someone from another team. Lloyd wanted to help, but remembered what Aline had said about being useless, which made him feel sad. Yui sensed there was no problem if Lloyd was amazing. They then moved to the forest, where Yui asked Lloyd to show them his skills so they could evaluate him. Lloyd saw they had high hopes for him and felt very nervous, worrying he would disappoint them like he did with his previous team. Dagas thought Lloyd felt embarrassed because they asked him to demonstrate his abilities. He suddenly asked Yui to inquire about the spells he used, and Yui agreed to this idea. She asked him to cast a strengthening spell on all of them, which which surprised Lloyd. Cross thought it would be hard for Lloyd to do this because most white mages struggled with such requests. But Lloyd asked them if casting a strengthening spell would mean he would then be their rank S member. Yui confirmed this was correct, and they needed to do it simultaneously. Casting it one after another wouldn't count. Lloyd wondered what they expected from him. Yui asked Lloyd if he couldn't do it, but that wasn't really Lloyd's problem. Dagas told him not to pretend to be stronger, as there was no need to raise Yui's hopes. Cross asked him to be honest about whether he could do it or not. However, Lloyd requested some time. He produced his staff, which amazed Yui, and then showed them the magic circles and cast them on them. Yui asked Lloyd where he got the staff, but he had just used storage magic. He asked them what they thought of the strengthening magic he cast on them. They were astonished he had done it, and Dagas was surprised he didn't say any incantations. Cross felt his body had become lighter. Yui stepped forward to test it, striking a tree which led to it being cut down, stunning the entire team, who couldn't believe what had just happened. Lloyd told them he had cast 5 spells: body strengthening, defense enhancement, magical power boost, mana consumption reduction, and negative status resistance. Yui expressed her disbelief, asking if he had used 5 spells on everyone. He replied he did because casting just one strengthening spell on everyone was very simple for him. He thought they were asking for something bigger. However, he believed he had made a mistake in this and hid his staff, apologizing for his poor performance, claiming he wasn't fit to be a white mage for their team, and that he would leave. Yui asked him to wait before he disappeared. Yui was then surprised to learn he was a part of a prestigious team known as the Hero Team, but they had expelled him for lacking power. Cross asked how he could lack power after doing all that. Silica hadn't seen anyone use magic in such large amounts, but Lloyd thought there were more powerful white mages than him. Cross inquired about the flaw in his appraisal. Lloyd mentioned the previous white mage from this team, and believed it would be faster to rehire him than to bring Lloyd on board. But Yui informed him about the white witch they had with them who had a very sick little sister, and she was the one taking care of her. All this had drained her health and strength, which they all noticed. Silica told him she had been distracted during one of the recent missions, leading her to leave the team voluntarily. Cross learned from her that she didn't want to be a burden on them. Lloyd understood they were looking for a white mage for this reason. Dagas thought they might be able to embark on their mission without a white mage, but they could be risking danger, which would be a significant challenge for them. Yui hoped Clume was okay now, and the rest of the team felt worried about her. Lloyd asked if she was someone important to them all. This led him to feel a bit jealous and question them about her little sister's illness. Yui didn't know much about it, but it seemed the illness turned bodies to magical stone, shocking Lloyd. He recalled what he learned from his teacher regarding this sickness. Then he asked Yui to guide him to Clum's house. Lloyd and Yui then went to Clum's house. Clum was surprised by their visit. Lloyd asked Clum about her sick sister's condition. Clum told him she had gone adventuring with her little sister, Sylphie, but she was injured during one of their missions and lost consciousness when she approached her. Lloyd then asked about the symptoms of her condition, but Clum requested he see her for himself as it would be better. Then Clum opened the door to her room, and a terrible smell of mana wafted out. Her room was filled with the foul mana. Clum then lifted the cover from herself to show Lloyd her bad condition, which surprised him. Clum explained that Sylvie was turning into a magical stone, and that her mana was out of control, causing her body to gradually transform. She said it was only a matter of time before she fully turned. However, Lloyd approached Sylvie and speculated that if his spell was correct, he could treat Sylvie, which shocked Clom because the high-ranking healing magic users she had seen said it was impossible. She wondered what an ordinary white mage could do, but Lloyd believed it was because she had been exposed to a pure magical stone, and asked Clom if Sylvie had been injured in a cave with high mana density. Clom confirmed this because their task was to retrieve a magical stone from a cave. Lloyd then asked about the wound, and Clom revealed it to him. Lloyd's prediction was correct, as the mana had entered through that spot and then spread throughout her body, which was the reason for her transformation into a magical stone. Clom asked how he knew this, and he told her he was taught by an exemplary teacher. Then Yui asked Clom if she trusted Lloyd. Lloyd began to show his staff and used a magic circle but felt tired. Clom asked him what happened. He explained that he used a reversed mana transfer spell to absorb mana from Sylvie. Clom asked if he meant he reshaped the spell. Lloyd told her that the transformation into a magical stone progressed due to the raging mana inside her, so he needed to reduce her mana to the lowest possible limit until it approached 0. Otherwise, any treatment would be useless, and he would have to start over. Then he used the power of spells, and he utilized a flawed version that was very low in mana consumption, allowing him to burn much of the mana he absorbed while healing Sylvie, which astonished Yui and Clom. Yui asked Clom if it was impressive. However, Clom saw it as the most impressive thing ever ever since he used spells he created himself and cast 2 at once. Moreover, he showed great endurance and strong will to withstand the massive consumption of mana, something an ordinary person couldn't do. Then Yui was surprised by Sylvie's limbs as she began to recover, and Lloyd succeeded in completely healing Sylvie. Yui approached him and told him he succeeded in healing her. Sylvie then awoke from her consciousness and called for her older sister. Clom cried a lot from her fear for Sylvie. Then Clom thanked Lloyd and told him that once Sylvie fully recovered, she would venture with her again, which Yui found reasonable and better for her. Then Clom told them that their next meal was on her. Yui then said her goodbyes to Clom and Lloyd, but Clom stopped Lloyd and told him she was reassured about the team as long as he was with them, and asked him to take good care of them. But Lloyd wasn't officially a member of the team and still lacked strength. Then we moved to the tavern where Lloyd's new team gathered for food and drink. Dagas told Lloyd that he did well to heal Sylvie. Yui noticed that he was still acting very modestly and joked about hitting him. However, Lloyd's happiness was indescribable due to Sylvie's healing. Unfortunately, Clom wouldn't return to the team. Silica thought they needed to think about their future, and that Cross's happiness was now prevailing. Dagas said their friend had gotten a new chance at life, and that there was no reason not to celebrate. Yui thanked Lloyd for saving Sylvie. Then Lloyd recalled Elena's nasty words to him, and asked Dagas what the team would want if they were given a new life. Silica wanted to be a wife, and while they were talking, Lloyd interrupted and asked them to join their team, which surprised everyone. He informed them, assuming they did not mind his presence, leading to Yui being annoyed, and Dagas thought he was against the idea, but Cross was very pleased with this. Silica predicted that having Lloyd with them was very reassuring. Then Yui welcomed Lloyd to join them, and Lloyd shook her hand and thanked her for hosting him. Yui said they should celebrate now to welcome the new member, but Lloyd felt it wasn't necessary. However, Yui insisted on this celebration, saying this is how things were done, so she would throw a welcome party and asked him if he would join. Lloyd agreed, and the rest of the team thought she wanted to let loose, but Yui told them that wasn't the case, and that she was very serious and they misunderstood.